Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Dawn Patrol. I'm Cliff Krieger, your host. Eileen Delrossi, my co-host, is down in, you're in Norwood? Watertown. Anyway,
Good morning.
She's getting a jump on going to school. Anthony's going to school in Watertown, and their commute is minimal today. And we're joined early on by my fellow Air Force veteran, Francisco Maldonado. And how are you, Francisco?
I'm doing very good. And thank you for your service. I am glad to be part of that club.
Well, part of our service has helped run up the national debt, which last night was $37.319 trillion. It's a fair amount of money. The low today is 66, high of 83, thunderstorms. It'll be sunny at 11 o'clock and again in the late afternoon. So there we are. Saturday it'll go to 85, but there'll still be rain. Looking back in history, in 1666, the Great Fire of London ended 10,000 buildings, including the old St. Paul's Cathedral, burned to the ground. Only 6 people were known to have died, which I think is remarkable. 1774, the First Continental Congress assembled in Philadelphia. 1781, Battle of Chesapeake in the American Revolutionary War. The British Navy is repelled by the French Navy, contributing to the British surrender at Yorktown. 1791, Olympia de Gouges writes the Declaration of the Rights of Women and of the Female Citizen. She later is hung during the French Revolution for not being revolutionary enough. She didn't want to kill the king, so they hung her. So they chopped her head off since it's France.
Good old days.
Yeah.
1793, French Revolution. The French National Convention initiates the Reign of Terror, which is where they got her. In 1836, Sam Houston is elected the first president of the Republic of Texas. 1882, the first U.S. Labor Day parade is held, New York City. So it's been around for a while. 1905, the Russo-Japanese War, a peace treaty was signed. It was mediated by U.S. President Theodore Roosevelt and was up in New Hampshire. I had not realized it was in New Hampshire. 1914, World War I, the first Battle of the Marne, northeast of Paris. The French attack and defeat German forces who were advancing on the capital. This is when, in order to get reinforcements, they mobilized all the cabs in Paris and drove the troops out to the front line. 1960, Muhammad Ali, then known as Cassius Clay, won the gold medal in light heavyweight boxing at the Olympic Games in Rome. 1969, a blot on us, the Miley Massacre. U.S. Army Lieutenant William Calley is charged with 6 specifications of premeditated murder for the death of 109 Vietnamese civilians. Back to the Olympics, 1972, Munich Massacre, Palestinian terrorist group called Black September attacked and took hostage 11 Israeli athletes at the Munich Olympic Games. 2 died in the attack and 9 are murdered the following day. And in 2022, Liz Truss is declared the winner of the UK Conservative Party leadership election, beating Rishi Sunak. The reason I mention it is I've got her book I'm reading. I think it's titled 10 Years to Save the West. 1847, Jesse James was born. 1929, Bob Newhart was born. Bob Newhart died in 2024.
Hey, Cliff, can you speed up a little bit? When I look at your paper, what happened in 1924?
I'm trying to memorize all this.
Look at this paper. What happened in 1924, Cliff? You just said.
1924. Yeah.
People don't retain this stuff. So that's what I'm saying. If you can speed up, that'd be great. Thank you. I know you're loud.
You're doing a good job, Cliff. You keep going. I'm trying to memorize this stuff.
1940, Raquel Welch was born.
We don't need to be such a guy.
1548, Catherine Parr died, 6th wife of Henry VIII. She survived him by almost 2 years.
How many people are finding lousy wives?
I don't know. 1912, Arthur MacArthur Jr. Passed away. Retired Army General, Medal of Honor recipient. Father of Douglas MacArthur, Army General, Medal of Honor winner. They may be the only father-son pair I know of. And in 1997, Mother Teresa, an Albanian Indian nun, missionary and saint, passed away. She was a Nobel laureate. She had been born back in 1910. So today, of course, is the feast day of Mother Teresa. It's also International Day of Charity, and in India it's Teachers' Day for all you teachers. So, John, you got a status on Bob Hoey?
Well, he's much improved. Picked up his car yesterday, so he's going in a very good direction.
Good. And Ned Tarmey, is he happy now that the verdict's in?
Ned Tarmey, I went to the sentencing hearing. Good to see him. He was in great spirits. It's tough to get Ned on the phone. I haven't been able to get him on the phone this week. His voicemail box is full. But last time I talked to him, he was in good spirits, looked great when I saw him at the courthouse in Manchester.
Good. So, President Biden apparently had an operation for skin cancer in his head.
Live long and prosper, Mr. President. Thank you for your service.
Powerball is up to $1.7 billion.
Will this make
Saturday's
you
the
buy a
next drawing.
Will you buy a Powerball now, Cliff?
Yeah.
Cisco, will you buy a Powerball?
I'm in it for $100 now, $20. I think there's something going on. Someone's making money.
I think that Trump should investigate these people. What does Eileen think about the Powerball? She can get one?
What's your thought, Eileen?
Powerball, I don't know how I don't know how people in Ohio win. Like, there's been millions of dollars won, but and somebody I think before in California won. But I don't understand how it just keeps going up if those millions of dollars have been awarded already. It just doesn't make any mathematical sense.
I think it's rigged. I know that's a Trump term, but come on. I think it's rigged.
Yeah, I do too.
Investigation should be called to order.
A strange commentary from Senator Tim Kaine down in Virginia. He said that our rights, as enumerated, say in the Declaration of Independence, do not come from God, but they come from Congress. I mean, that's a total reversal of...
Well, at least he believes in God.
He what?
At least he believes in God.
How do you know that?
He just said they don't come from God, they come from Congress. How would you just say that there's no God in that statement? He just said they don't come from God, they come from Congress.
All right. Let's take the important part. Do you think they come from Congress?
Congress gives us the right to carry and bear arms under the laws of the United States of America. Yes.
So,
Our right to live and breathe and have certain natural functions happen to us is a God-given gift.
free speech.
Free speech, yeah.
Is that from Congress or from God?
United States, it's from the government. In Russia, it's from the government. You don't see protesters hanging around in Russia, do you? Why? They have the same God, don't they? Or do they have a different God? They have a Russian God? Of course not. The government gives you your rights.
That is a very un-American view.
I don't care. Cliff, have you ever seen a sign of protest in Russia against Vladimir?
You die.
Yeah. Cuba, same thing. Cuba, there's no signs in Russia, in Cuba, against Israel, same thing. There's no signs. There are signs now. Cuba's getting, Israel's getting ticked off about the signage now. They wonder where the signs come from, because they are cropping up in Israel. Professionally printed signs.
Eileen, you're the school teacher. Our rights, are God-given rights, or are they just given to us by Congress?
Are they God-given rights, or what did you say?
Given to us by Congress.
Both, I guess, right? Because we have to follow the laws, right? But we have rights that we're blessed for by God. And so I think a little of both. Is that an acceptable answer?
Cliff's being the teacher here, you're getting a D.
You're getting a C. John's
I get a
getting
C.
an F.
Cliff,
I was always a
how
C
is it that
student
God
anyway.
gave us the right to bear arms? Explain that to me.
The right of self-defense.
Where is that in the Ten Commandments? Where is the list of rights that God gave us? There isn't the one. There isn't any.
So
Free will.
those guys down in Philly at the Continental Congress, first meeting was today back in 1774. When they came up with the Declaration of Independence, they were wrong.
Cliff, where in the Bible, where does it list our rights that God gave us?
It doesn't.
Well, why do you say that we got rights from God? Where did you get that from? Just ask him.
Thomas Jefferson in the U.S. Continental Congress.
He wasn't a Catholic. He's a pagan.
Well, I don't think he's a pagan.
Was he Catholic?
No,
Then he doesn't get in. We all know this.
I don't think that's fair to the Protestants.
Back then, it's tough. When I went to Catholic school, if you weren't Catholic, you went to hell. Things have changed now. And first comment of the day, our rights come from the brave men and women who fought for our rights.
I agree with that comment. Also, I agree that the only reason we have those rights is because the people want you to have those rights. I mean, ultimately, is the people who police us, and it's at the end of the day, when there's enough of us saying, well, you're taking away the rights that we want everyone to have, we're going to, enforce our wishes, retaliate, revolution, protest.
Yeah. Well, anyway,
So, Cliff, no, I'm still chasing down the rights that God gave us. Where are they listed?
the
But you're insistent-
Declaration of Independence.
Those are the God-given rights?
Yeah.
Was that a yes?
Yes, that's a yes.
First I'm hearing that God wrote the Declaration of Independence. Cisco, you went to school just like I did. Did they teach that God wrote the Declaration of Independence?
No.
Oh.
I mean, but I can understand Cliff's on idea that on those thoughts that were written down came from someone.
Now, let's
God.
ask Eileen about this. Eileen, do you think God wrote the Declaration of Independence?
Say that again, John?
Do you think God wrote the Declaration of the Independence?
You keep going out a little bit. I'm not hearing you great.
Eileen, he's asking, do you think God wrote the Declaration of Independence? What's your
No,
opinion?
I do not believe God wrote the Declaration of Independence, but I do believe if we don't follow the Declaration of Independence, that we could all end up in the clink.
Comment from the audience says, why is God on the dollar bill? I think it says, in God we trust. I don't think there's a picture of God on the dollar bill, is there? I'll look.
No, it's in God we trust.
You have a dollar? Can I see it?
I only have 5.
They're gonna get rid of the dollars soon. They're not worth much.
Yeah, it is kind of dating itself, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
And they'll
So-
never,
So here's what the Continental Congress voted on. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
say it again at the beginning.
We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator were certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure
Okay.
these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed.
This is that's an opinion statement.
Right, because when you, like, I just think of all these court TV things I've been into. So do you think that Brian Kohlberger is equally created like all other men? How would you hold a Brian Kohlberger up to Thomas Jefferson and Ben Franklin?
They were all created equal and endowed by their creator with certain inalienable rights, and Brian Kohlberger went off the rails.
But he's not the only one. There's many.
Yes. We won't get into that today.
So it gets messy. It does. It gets very, like, we're all endowed with the same rights, and that's why we have the court process, right? And because we presume everybody's innocent until proven guilty, right? So we have a court process.
Right.
And so therefore, but like, I just think when you do heinous things as Brian Kohlberger and, you know, Charles Manson, is that his name?
Yeah.
Yes.
Charles Manson, like, it's, I don't know. I don't believe everybody, I believe everybody is born with a clean slate and needs to follow what their rights are. But at the end of the day, the Declaration of Independence doesn't matter to people who are not God-fearing people, if that makes sense, right? So God gives us these rights, but yet, like, some people take it for granted. And then they're breaking the law, therefore. So maybe my answer is our rights are given by God, and then if we don't, you know, if we don't follow and admire those things that were given by God, then we are then subject to the laws and the Declaration of Independence and so forth.
Yeah. John, you want to wrap this up? The American Revolution was a fraud?
I'm working on technical difficulties over here.
That would be my excuse.
Not paying attention to you at all, this silliness. It's an opinionated piece which you read to us, Cliff, and that's it. It's an opinion. God did not speak. Show me what God wrote down. God sent us the Bible? No, he didn't. Moses came down with the Ten Commandments, which sit in the Ark of the Covenant. And, like it or not, that's the only thing God physically has given us, the Ten Commandments, that Moses brought that. And that's on Moses' word that God gave him to him.
Okay.
It's a very deep conversation for a Friday morning.
Yeah, let's talk about Karen Reed's car.
Oh yeah, I heard she's getting it back this weekend.
Yeah, how come they held the car so long?
I don't know.
It was evidence.
I think they're nervous.
Evidence.
The trial's over. They're going to try it again? What do you think, Francisco?
I think they just were trying to clean up other stuff before they got to it. They didn't really think it was that important to them, so they weren't in a rush.
Yeah.
I mean, that's personal property. It should be returned as soon as possible. Yeah, I can see you hold it till you have your trial, but once the trial's over, you know, all that stuff should be returned immediately to the rightful owner. People pay for that. You pay for something, you own it. No one else owns it.
I saw where somebody has offered to take the car in and detail it and put it back on the road in fresh condition. Did you see that, Eileen?
I did. I saw the same thing.
They're detailing it and putting it back on the road in fresh new condition, Karen Reed's car?
Yes.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it, because I believe they tore that car up in all different sorts of ways to get any type of evidence and to pull whatever they could. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the state, I mean, I didn't really look into it, but I saw that this week they came out with the amount of money that it cost this, I think it was close, maybe even to $900,000 of how much it cost the state to just retry Karen Reed.
Well, that's a lot of money. They spent $500,000 with some company recreating the accident, so,
Oh yeah, Aperture.
yeah. So,
And the Blue Man Group with the paint.
And Google says cost more than $1.4 million.
oh, okay.
And you know the question I have, where's the accountability when decisions are made and the decisions cost the taxpayers a lot of money, but yet the people who make these decisions, they're still in power. You
Nobody
know?
got fired. Nobody got fired.
No.
You know what? They're not going to go looking for who killed this guy.
Yeah.
Somebody got away with murder.
It is crazy. I mean, it's going to, back to the car, I know from my experience that when they go into a vehicle and they fumigate it with crazy glue to find fingerprints and stuff like that, that glue sticks to everything. And you know crazy glue, when it sticks to something, it doesn't come off very easily. And if it's there for that duration of time, I would think you probably have to replace a lot of the interior. Now, does she have the right to file an insurance claim? That would be my thing, because it could be totaled. And then,
Right.
is there insurance? Do you have to pay insurance while the vehicle's being held during evidence? Because if you don't, are they going to charge you with having a vehicle that's not registered?
Yeah, she was responsible for paying, I'm not sure if she leased, she had to pay her lease payment off, or she had to pay off her loan for that car. She had to pay everything. Well, they took her right away to even drive. And what was the other thing I was going to say? So I forgot what I was just going to say. They took all of her rights away, and then she still had to pay. Oh, I know what I was going to say. The crazy part with the whole Karen Reed thing is that there was never a police report even written about a car accident or a vehicle hitting John O'Keefe. Not even a police report. That's how crazy it was that Proctor went to her house and just kind of, before he even saw the vehicle, before he did anything, seized her car.
Yeah. Okay, moving on from Karen Reed. John, are you happy that we've beaten the teacher salary issue to death? Salaries in the school department?
I want to know how many people who work for the city of Lowell make over $100,000 a year, when the average income in Lowell is $47,000. That's all I wanna know.
That's a legitimate question. I also would add to, how many of those jobs are employed by residents of Lowell? I mean, they say you can't have residency here in Lowell, but yet Boston has it. It's illegal. Who's telling the truth?
You see, when you hire a lawyer, the lawyer works for you. Now, to think that the city's lawyer works for anybody else but the manager, you're foolish.
Well, isn't he a good friend?
It doesn't make any difference. When the city council says, Mr. Solicitor, what's going on with this? He looks over at the manager and goes like, what do you want me to say? He's working for the manager.
I agree.
Or she's working for the
I
manager.
agree.
And that's it. The manager has, and a big flaw the city has is, and they'll never take it back because it's always this with golden. Great job, Tom. Tom, you're the best. Let's give the guy a raise.
$326,000. That's
He makes
the number.
$1,000 a day.
$1,000 a day. That's beautiful. But yet, he can't manage to do what the citizens want. The citizens are asking for more notification of what's going on in the city. Simply notify the citizens that are paying his salary. You know, we've heard numerous times, where are the bulletin boards announcing the preliminary that's happening on September 9th, this coming Tuesday? When you see them everywhere else, when it's something that is not as important.
This guy can't even program the new traffic lights on the Lord overpass. Can't keep them in order. It's terrible. City council, but you know what? It'll happen on the 9th. Either the voters are going to come out and say, you know what,
I hope they come out, I really do.
we're angry, and you know what? I'll bet you the biggest thing they got scared of this week was the public hearing they had about mass and Cass in Boston, where they actually filled the auditorium with people who are sick and tired of mass and Cass. That's, the city council's going to be going, ooh, I guess they don't care for the homeless being around. They don't want to grant them the rights that we're giving them. Not good. I'm going to complain more in the second hour about communication from the police department.
And then you're gonna wonder why I'm not moving along quick enough. Okay?
I think we're doing mighty fine. Are we done with history, or are you still on history?
Everything's on history. Right?
Yeah, if you don't study your history, you'll repeat it.
That's why divorce is so popular.
So, we're still doing research on salaries then.
I'm not doing any research. What do you want me to look up?
Eileen and I are doing the research.
Oh, good. I'll be happy to look at it when you get it in here.
Stand easy, John. So, President Trump announced Tuesday that he wants to move Space Command headquarters from Colorado to Alabama. Does all the...
Hey, go down.
Go ahead, Eileen.
Sorry, I was in the elevator, talking to somebody.
Oh. So all Colorado's congressional critters, the delegation, are all up in arms.
They're losing jobs. I would be too.
Yeah.
Like there's 30,000 jobs leaving. That's a big hit. Okay, so 2 comments from the audience. 1.4 million is nothing to the state. That's what they pay Marty Mann to run one public college. I didn't know his salary was that high. There are many colleges in Massachusetts, that's for Bart. And then continuing, every counselor that has been on the program are telling citizens that taxes are going up. Once again, it's our fault, not the manager's fault. Interesting angle, thank you.
I love the salary Marty Man is making, because guess what? I think I would pay someone that kind of money if they could get a ballpark and an arena built for $1, if they worked for me.
Good point.
He didn't even pay off the mortgage on the Songus Arena. We had to continue to pay the mortgage.
What a great deal. Well, guess what? Affordable housing. We're not building that, but we're building affordable parks and arenas. You can buy those for $1 if you know the right people.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's go back to history. I like
Yeah.
history.
So Trump said they were going to move it on his first term. Joe Biden said, no, we're going to keep it in Colorado Springs. And now Donald Trump is saying, what I said was move it to Alabama. So I'm sure there'll be a lawsuit about this somewhere. So turn of the day, John, log rolling. Have you ever heard of the log rolling?
Yes, I've seen that happen in Canada.
Have you seen it happen down on Beacon Hill?
No, I missed that. Actually, I wouldn't even get out of my car to watch it, but that's okay. Tell us more.
log rolling is when legislators get together and trade votes, so that if you vote for my bill, I'll vote for your bill. That's how legislators.
That's your take on it. My take on it is, you either vote my way, or I'm going to take back the Rourke Bridge money.
Same
The
difference.
Speaker of the House rules the place.
John, I just sent you in instant messenger all the Lowell government salaries if you want to take a gander through them.
Okay, I'll take a peek. Thank you.
So, did you see where CBS is being bought out? And at the same time, the people that are buying CBS are buying the Citizen Free Press, which is,
Are they buying the company, or are they just buying the assets?
they're buying the name and the assets.
So they're not buying CBS. They're picking and choosing. So the liability that CBS has will be retained by CBS Corporation.
They're buying CBS Corporation.
They're buying their assets. They're not buying their liabilities.
I don't know that. Do you know that?
That's the usual practice. I don't know that.
All right.
It's the usual practice. So if I'm going to
I
buy,
just,
if I'm going to buy your company, Cliff, I'm not going to buy your company. I'm going to buy all of your assets, but I'm not going to buy your liabilities. See, if I buy Cliff Krieger Incorporated, and I just continue to operate as Cliff Krieger Incorporated, all the liabilities that you have are now on me.
Right.
That's why I only buy your assets.
In this case, they're buying the name.
Okay.
And
I
they're-
just saw on the news, actually, the second Karen retrial cost the state $1.4 million.
No. Okay, so there's a lot of concern apparently in the CBS newsroom with Barry Weiss coming over to join the company. People may not remember she used to work for the New York Times and then left to provide a better news source for people. And there's rumors that people are going to be bailing out of the newsroom at CBS with this big change of ownership.
Well, if you don't get a job with the new company, it's not bailing out, you just don't have a job there.
Yeah.
The CBS evening, is it CBS they're buying?
Yes.
So I just hope they keep Tracker on. My wife loves that show called Tracker.
Oh, okay.
So are they going to keep Tracker?
I don't know.
I don't care about their news.
Now, is this have to get government approval? Or-
I think they have to get from the Federal Communications Commission.
Okay.
So, but back to the police.
Which police?
Well, in this case, the Scottish police.
Ah, Scottish. They come with the bagpipers, yes. Bagpiper police. What about them?
Go ahead.
Tell us about the bagpiper police.
So, we know that at Heathrow, an Irish comedian flying into England from the United States was arrested by 5 armed bobbies upon landing because of texts he had made. Now, to me,
Because
5
of what he
armed...
made?
What?
Because of Texas he had made?
Texts.
Texts. I got you.
Now, to me, the idea that you'd need 5 police to arrest this guy at Heathrow is pretty astonishing. On top of that, they're armed. I mean, you don't think of British police as being armed, do you? It just doesn't make any sense. But anyway, he had texted comments that were sarcastic with regard to trans people, and that's apparently a crime in England.
I'll go way back.
How far back?
I'd say the 70s, 1970s. We had this fire in Lowell where this person had passed away. And we were in charge of recovering the remains at the scene. And so I said to the chief, I says, do you want to have your guys carry the stretcher out of the house and put it into the car? He says, sure, we can do that. And so 8 guys get on the stretcher, 4 on each side, and they carry the stretcher out of the car. And the chief who was at the scene, after they had put the stretcher in the car and they were all patting themselves on the back, what a great job they done, the chief said, next time don't smile, guys. Because the TV cameras were there. They had all 4, 5, and 7 watching, because it was all, okay, they're going to bring the stretcher out this way. It was all ready to go, a TV production. It was a sad event for the poor guy that lost his life, but back in the 70s, it was a wicked big deal to get on TV. The smiling fireman from Lowell. So this comment from the audience. The Arena Park Hotel, all a gift by...
Gift. I think they meant
I think the
gift.
word was gift. Gift
Yeah.
by Lowell City Council. Get ready for a new gift. The UN is coming to Lowell. That's from Jay. Jay,
I would go with grift, is what Jay is saying.
Grift is more cynical than me.
Yes. So anyway, and then up in Scotland, some 14-year-old girl is defending her little sister who's been harassed by some immigrant.
Yeah, he did mean grift. He just texted me again.
Okay, so what's the definition of grift?
Grift is,
I'll
go
ask-
ahead, John.
I'll ask Wikipedia.
All right. Grift is dishonest dealings on the part of people.
Okay, so I like that word.
There are some who would say that there's a lot of grift in city council.
That's
Not
why.
me,
That's
not
why.
me.
That's why I'm running.
Oh,
I mean
okay.
more on transparency. Yeah, I don't know if that's covered by the word grift. I will study that myself.
It
Maybe I
says,
can use it.
From dictionary.com, grift. Engage in petty or small-scale swindling.
Swindling. I like that.
Swindling. A petty or small-scale swindle.
I like that word. When was the word made? Now we're talking about history. Is that an old word? You don't see that often.
What word do you want to look up?
Grift? No, I mean grift. I mean, how old is the word? You know what I mean? It's first time I've heard it. Unfortunately.
Well, there's more.
I hear it a lot in terms, like, people have used the word grifting in terms of, like, the people who do YouTube streams on the Karen Reed case, like Turtle Boy, that he's grifting and taking money from people, but people are actually donating money to him for doing what he did. And, like, but anybody who's done, like, or made money for the Karen Reed Defense Fund, like, they've all been accused of grifting.
Grifting. All right. See, I didn't follow that on case. I purposely didn't want. I'm not someone who enjoys gossip or stuff that's without proper investigation. And as someone who's been a police officer, I've always said you really have to investigate everything and make sure before you speak, that you've done a full investigation. And something they teach officers too. There's just so much out there. There's so much evidence to gather. There's so much investigation before you can truly come to a conclusion when you don't have a eyewitness to the event. So, I mean, I've always refrained from speculating and said you really have to investigate. And investigation takes a lot of time. So, yes.
Yeah, there was a lot of gray area, especially with the Karen Reed case.
Yes, my wife watched it, and she's in an agreement with that. I clearly stayed away from it. I did see some of it because it was covered heavily by the media.
So
I'd love to
Griff
talk to your wife any
is
day.
not that old. It's 2000, I mean, yeah, from about 1906.
So it's a newer word,
It's
okay.
it's an underworld term,
Okay.
so that's where it came from.
Grifting.
How are we doing? It's 6:47 and two more guests have showed up. So why don't you come over and join us so that those who have to go to work, watching the show can at least see your pretty faces.
I'm gonna slide over here so that
That's,
we have room for
good.
everyone. I've been
grab me that microphone right there.
this one here.
Yeah.
Is that one?
Cliff, I'll take care of all that stuff, please. Please.
All right.
I'll take
Hand
care of it.
Eileen's microphone to,
Taryn? Yeah. Oh, you get. But I would say John is probably gonna have to turn this one on. It doesn't look like it's on, so.
I'm gonna take something right now.
Yeah, all right. So we're going to break on, folks.
why did we
stick-
go?
That you made 2 days ago. Is that awful, or is it? Coffee's expensive. I mean, I've been someone that's been always saving money. Thank God I save money because it's given me opportunities to do things I'm doing presently.
Welcome back to the Dawn Patrol. I'm Cliff Krieger, your host. Eileen is phoning it in. We have three guests here, three people running for city council. Next to me is Francisco Maldonado. Then next to him is Erin Gendron. And then finally Sidney Liang.
Good morning.
Francisco, what district are you running in?
I'm running District 8, the Upper Highlands.
Okay. And Erin?
So I'm running for District 3, so it is Belvedere and then parts of Belvedere, Lower Belvedere, and parts of South Lowell, and it just touches downtown.
And finally, Sidney, where are
Yes.
you running?
I'm District 7, basically the acre and part of the Lower Highland.
Okay. So everyone's enjoying the campaign so far?
Yes?
Yes.
So we've been talking about rights here and the fact that there was the argument in England that rights are going away, that the government is not worried about the rights of the people to speak. They're arresting folks. Are our rights important? What do we think?
Of course they are. I'm a proud veteran's daughter. I think people have died for our rights, so they're very important.
I'm gonna kill off these texts.
I do agree
Wait
with
just
Erin.
a second.
I'm gonna kill off these texts. Actually, Marty's salary is 730 grand a year. Just Googled it, feels like $1 million to me, but it's the highest. He is the highest paid state employee in New England, according to Google, it's from Bart. When we were along the Arena Park Hotel, that's where he did this one, the grift. And then I asked the question earlier, did anyone receive a reverse 911 call for the active shooter? And Cliff, if you could ask the table, did they get a 911 call?
Did anyone get a call?
No, I didn't get one.
I
No.
didn't either.
I got just a text because we had a Board of Health meeting, just to say that the meeting was still on.
Ah,
It was
But
downtown.
nothing about the shooter.
No.
And this is a police department that will send you a text at 3 o'clock in the morning to tell you Uncle Willie's walking out Andover Street with a red hat on.
I do think sometimes they have to keep some information.
Why didn't they send,
As a mom, that's it's concerning and difficult. I can't imagine, I mean, this is the world we live in, and it's really hard. I have 2 boys, and it's a scary place.
so you think the police department should have sent a text to people or no?
I think that if your kids are locked in the school, you need to be aware of what's happening with your kids.
okay.
Back over to you, Cliff.
So,
I think, can I just say one thing? I think the scariest part of that is that there was, nobody was locked down in that case, and it was dismissal time, and kids that were getting dropped off at like Wilder Street area were watching the FBI and the SWAT team and all the big trucks, and that could be traumatizing for some kids. I think we honestly, like, going forward, we've never been in a situation like that, thank God, but going forward, I do think we need, which will be a motion probably put forth by most of the school committee, that we have a plan in place that no matter what time something like that happens, we have a plan.
Eileen, do you know, that I had heard that there was a 311 that had gone out, and like, I have that app, but I didn't know that that was, I never get alerts on the app. I didn't know that that was a function of it.
I mean, I'm signed up for 311, but I don't believe, so we got a message as school committee members from the superintendent, and then he said, luckily all the schools have been dismissed. I said, well, what about, there are 325 schools that get dismissed, and what about the kids that are on buses right now? Like, I would think that's the the scariest time. And so there were also after school programs planned at the Bartlett and the Stocklosa. So I know at 3:15 we got a notification from the superintendent, and then I think it was 3:17 I started getting all the notifications from NBC, ABC, Fox 25 on my phone. So there wasn't a large gap of time between when I was notified from the superintendent to when it was on the state media pages.
My big concern would be the digital infrastructure in the city. I found it's lacking. And it affected me directly because recently I went canvassing and I went to the map that they have published in the social media for the city of Lowell, and it was incorrect. So I actually spent 2 days in a district that I wasn't part of that district because of the fact that the map they have out there is not updated, and there's other stuff in the city webpage that's not updated. They need to address digital infrastructure. I know that in the police department, the cruisers don't have computers because of the lack of digital infrastructure. Again, this and where you want international businesses come here, and you have a digital infrastructure that fails to meet my simply something that I needed to, as a citizen, as someone who's running for city council, to be updated, and it wasn't? I mean, what else is out there that's not working?
Well, yes, and it speaks a lot to a motion Dave Conway had about the police working with the superintendent on an overall school safety plan, because you can't control chaos. You can't control when a situation like that happens, and it could happen at any time. So we need plans for arrival during the day, dismissal at all times, and I think money has to be put into that from the school and the city to really lock down a plan of attack if something like this was to ever happen again. I mean, we have been so lucky in Lowell, and not other states. I mean, in Massachusetts, not so many other states have been so lucky. So, I mean, we know these things are happening on mass levels, so we need to do everything we can to be proactive at this point.
Eileen, maybe on Monday when I have you here one-on-one, I don't think we need to reinvent the wheel. I think the superintendent needs to be able to converse with the reverse 911 people. I felt bad for the grandmothers who were sitting at their bus stop waiting for their kids to come get off the bus, and the kids were locked down in their school. And the poor grandmothers had no idea.
But John, the other thing...
I'm sorry.
All right.
I think the confusion is what schools were locked down. I understood
you should know. You should know.
Everything was going on normally.
I heard schools were locked down, buses were told to stop, buses weren't allowed to ride through the highway. That's what I heard. I don't know the facts.
But CTI has some, I mean, it's worth it to find out what schools were locked down, because CTI has some after-school programs in the schools over in that area. So I'm sure that they had some procedures that had to follow, and maybe because they're a nonprofit and they're not necessarily, like, they use the school. I don't know. There's a breakdown somewhere that the communication was lost, but I think it can be used as a learning experience for the future.
Well, we're going to go to a quick break for about 15 seconds, then you can restart the 7 o'clock show. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to City Life Show. I'm Cliff Krieger, your host. My co-host Eileen Delrossi is on the phone, calling in from near her son's school. And we have on the panel here, going to the far side, we have Sidney Liang,
Good morning.
Mm-hmm.
who is up for election tomorrow. Tuesday. And you represent the Acre.
Yes, sir, District 7.
And we have Erin Gendron, who's from District 3, the Belvedere area, and Francisco Maldonado, who is from District 8, which is the Highlands. And they're all up for election. This is the preliminary, designed to narrow things down to 2 people. I'm going to kill off these 2 texts, and then you can continue, Cliff. Thank you for your patience. I doubt the kids were traumatized by the SWAT trucks. They play violent video games on a daily basis. That's from Bart. Second, we never got a call in Lowell, but we were told one went out. I never got one. Is someone lying? I don't know. Back to you, Cliff. That's it for the text. All right. And if you want to participate, besides voting, this afternoon, Will Rosenberry, the head of elections, has announced that
open to the public. They'll be testing the election machines today at 1 p.m. in the mayor's reception room in the second floor of City Hall. So if you want to go and watch the testing and show some interest, 1 p.m. in mayor's reception room. That'd be good. So why don't we start out with each of you telling us a little about yourself and why you're running. So we'll start with Erin, because ladies before gentlemen.
I like that.
Sure. So I'm Erin Gendron. I am a career social worker. I have proudly served the city on the Board of Health for the last 5 years. I am a mother. I have 2 boys. They're 4 and 5 years old. I want to take the experience that I've gained serving at the Board of Health to the City Council. I believe that I bring a unique perspective that is much needed on this council, and I humbly ask for your vote, and I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Were you originally born in Lowell?
No, I was born just a little up the ways in Haverhill, in another mill city.
Okay.
I came here for my education. I'm a proud Riverhawk.
Sydney?
Yes, sir. My name is Sidney Liang. I a acre resident for quite some time, which means since 1987. I have 2 daughters. They're grown daughters now, more than 20 years old. One of them is going UMass Dartmouth. The other one is studying for her MCAT. I have been working in the city of Lowell for, I guess, more than 30 years. And most of the time I'm sitting on many boards, CBA, CTI, CMAA, UMass Lowell, IRB, and many others. I have experience working across ethnic communities as well as nonprofit and private sectors, working a lot with budgeting from state, local, and federal government, because we're working with grants a lot, and we're working with the city as well. So I have experience also connecting different community, because the program I work with basically across from ethnic community, educating people on healthcare, promoting different programs. So, and I like to bring my experience of working with different stakeholders within the city and outside the city to make CBA, ACRE, and also District 7, which cover a little bit of the Lower Highland, give them a little bit of better quality of life. And I request your votes if possible, so please,
So
Tuesday.
Where were you born?
I was born in Cambodia, yes, yes.
Yeah. And Francisco?
I was born here, Cliff, in Lowell, over at St. Joseph's Hospital. You remember that when we used to have 3 hospitals?
Just vaguely, yes. Just, I've only been here 31 years.
Some of the services that we used to have in the city.
Yeah.
Francisco Maldonado, I'm running for District 8. I just retired from the police department. 29 years I've been serving and going out there and just treating people the way I would want to be treated, with fairness, empathy, and integrity and respect. I like to continue serving my community. I have family that live in Lowell. My mother, my father passed away, sorry, but, you know, he's with us. My brothers and sisters, so I'm vested into Lowell. I could probably retire completely and move away from Lowell, but I'm not. I'm staying here. I want to stay here. I was born here. I'll probably die here. In fact, my wife has already made arrangements for me to be buried close to home. So she went out and bought some plots. I don't know where she got the money, but we own plots somewhere in one of the cemeteries. I'm not interested in cemeteries right now. There's too much for me to do before I go 6 feet under. So 29 years the police department. I like to go back into the community, this time from a different perspective, not in uniform, but in my civvy clothes, and just get to meet the neighbors, and I've been doing that. I've been canvassing, I've been seeing people out and finding out their issues, their voice, and a lot of them feel their voice is not heard at City Hall. we have large projects being developed in the Upper Highlands without the immediate abutting neighbors' input. If I'm elected, I'm going to make sure that those voices are heard. You're a district counselor, that's your job. And
Okay.
I'm going to be a full-time city councilor. That's the only job I'm going to have as a retiree.
So,
Francisco, I'm a little worried for you. It sounds like you're not worried about being 6 feet under, but your wife's a little prepared.
I'm worth a lot,
I
dead.
think she spent a lot of time here.
Just watch out.
Well, I did marry a smart woman, you know. And Lori Seacott, also born in Lowell.
so, Erin, what's your vision for Lowell? How do you see Lowell and going forward?
I think that we need a Lowell that has safe and comfortable neighborhoods, that every neighborhood is safe. I would love to see a busier downtown, and I want to maintain our green space, keep the parks there for the kids, and I want transparency.
Okay. Sydney?
I do agree with transparency, but I do also want to look at a little bit of kind of fairness view, balance and inclusion kind of view, where we have a lot of ethnic community, also different community growing up here, and our kids growing old, and I want to make sure they have access to City Hall. Economically, we make sure that the jobs are also provided to the people and local, so that they can take care of their own community. And it's going to be a difficult job, because this is very hard to just get a balanced and inclusive community, because wherever you go, you would hear a lot that they're not listening to you, they just hiring their own people. So I don't know that for sure, but I'll find out and make sure that it's included out for everybody in the community. Oops.
The media falls down on their duty when they don't ask politicians the right questions.
You know, and I agree with Sidney in the sense that there are jobs being given away to people that don't live in this city. I think, that residency should be a requirement in this city. If you want your community to do well, you got to pay people good money, and you have to make sure some of that money stays in the city that's paying the money. That's the return on your investment. Just like, I'm a big supporter of funding our schools. Guess what? We need to invest as much money into our education, because our education in Lowell is our future. If we want Lowell to be the next Geneva, which is the most expensive, I don't know, but I did some reading, it's one of the most expensive cities in Europe. And, if we want Lowell to be Geneva, guess what? We need good paying jobs. We need six-figure incomes, not on 40,000 median income to support, that lifestyle.
Cliff, we're gonna go back to Sydney, because Mike, he was using the batteries died. So
We're going back to Sydney.
I just rather you know that, Mike-
Nobody heard you, yeah.
Oh,
so you can say whatever you want to say, and then we'll go back to the show.
that's a good top part about not, being able to edit stuff.
Okay, vision for Lowell, Sydney.
We do the
In short, I just wanted to see Lowell being a more just, fair, and more inclusive city. If you're looking at data, a lot of people are basically foreign born in a city also, and so therefore I want to see our next generation and to have good jobs in a city. They don't have to go far away, they don't have to travel to Boston and other places to get a good job. And not just really small job where, all the other managerial job is being taken by some other folks who's, think they're smarter or have connection. So I want to see that. I want to make sure, get that clear way, or at least being more transparent for the community to see that this is actually true. So I want to know that. I want to see if there's anything to what the community is buzzing about, in there about job placement, job security, and just the hiring of people that are not local in our city.
Okay. Taxes. I think my taxes are going up. And unfortunately, the value of my house has gone up, which means my taxes are going up.
Can I handle that question?
You're all going to get a shot
Okay.
at it. Go ahead, Francisco.
Well, I agree with you on Cliff. Guess what? You have a city manager whose on resume is politician and realtor. And guess what? If you go up 2.5% and then you go and assess property when the inventory is very low, as a realtor knows, and properties being sold at very high, crazy prices, guess what? Now you can go to the taxpayer and say, guess what, folks? Your property is worth $1 million, not 500,000. 2.5% and 2.5%. That's 5%. We'll be collecting 5% on you for the next year.
Yeah. So, is there a solution?
Am I too loud? I had too much coffee this morning. Iced coffee.
Moving
Is there a
on to the
solution?
next person, okay? Bring time to shot.
So, yes, taxes are going up. I hope that the Front Runner City is everything that it said it's going to be, but I think that for the next few years, we are going to have some hurt, and it's coming. So the things that I think that we need to do are take care of our buildings, like take care of what we have. Let's get back to the basics. Let's invest in our infrastructure and our things that are going to carry us through, so that if this investment does come, or if there are ways that we can build our tax base, that we're not always chasing our tail. Like, look at our sidewalks. Instead of asphalting stuff, I spoke at the council for Beresford Ave for them to have concrete. They had concrete before. There's an ordinance on the books that you have to replace with in-kind materials. When you look at concrete, those sidewalks were put in by WPA 100 years ago. So we made our money's worth on it. When we invest in smart things that last a long time, we're going to get the return dividends. So we have buildings, we have pipes, we have people, we have parks. Those are all the things that we need to invest in to move our city forward, because we're in a crunch, and that ARPA money is gone, and we need to see how our city manager is going to manage all that, and he needs our input and the city's voice.
Well, my job in my district is a little tough right now, just because we have the lowest income, of all the district. Wherever I go, wherever I talk to people, not just only taxes that's way too high, or they can't afford, but they can't complain. Looking at everything else, from parking and to the sort of like the balloon of staffs at the city halls. So there's a lot of things that should be looked at, but I do agree that the taxes is too high, but I don't even know where to begin, because we're letting this go too long in a way that it's going to keep going up. And that's why I'm here, just because I asked my counselor and I asked other people that's sitting, in the city council, and they apparently, they didn't get it, stuff through. But people mentioning like, Geneva and all the Switzerland and the front runner city. I don't know. It seems a little bit too far away as well, and I'm still a little bit itchy how we can spend over $30,000 for all the city. For the council, to attend these meetings, and while we don't have money, while we are just scraping by. So there's a lot of way to attend meetings nowadays.
Okey doke. Now, not to pick on Erin, but her handout mentioned speed controls and traffic calming to make for better neighborhoods. But traffic is growing and not shrinking, and not just in Lowell, but all those people north of us who filter down through Bridge Street and Mammoth Road and all that and go across our bridges. So, are speed humps the future of Lowell?
So I think that right now, if that's the option that's being put out there, of course, if you have no other option and you're seeing cars just fly down your street every single day, and then someone comes to you and says, hey, here's a speed hump, that's gonna solve the problem, then, okay, like, that's exciting because it's been 20 years that we've had these cars flying down Fairmount Street, and finally we have something that's tangible that we can say, yes, there's a solution, right? But
But wait. The city had already provided that on Fairmount by not filling in the potholes.
exactly, so then we put speed humps on top of a road that wasn't paved. So as soon as we have to take them up so that we can, because they're temporary, they're not permanent speed humps, we're gonna take them up and the problem will still exist because that street wasn't paved. So the problem will still be there, but speeding on Fairmount Street is a symptom of a larger problem. The larger problem is the congestion that is it's a cut through. So traffic calming measures, there's a science to it. And if you're asking the traffic engineer, we have a traffic engineer, she's very smart and knows what she's talking about. But if you're asking, can I have a report on the feasibility of speed humps on Fairmount Street, then you're gonna get a report on the feasibility of speed humps on Fairmount Street. If you're asking, what are all of the options for traffic calming measures on Andover Street, then you're gonna get a different report, and that report will be, we have bike lanes, that's not a traffic calming measure because it's just a painted line on the road. Delineators on the bike lanes is a traffic calming measure because it's raised, so it actually, your eye catches it, it's higher up, it provides safety for the for bikes and pedestrians. That's the science behind it. When we just do you want asphalt or concrete with no other option, well then, yeah, people think that the concrete bumps are what's slowing down cars, and that's not true, so.
What about reducing the number of cars on Andover Street, which is our area of Lowell, but I can see impacts elsewhere? If we throw a bridge across the Merrimack, say down by Lindsay's, and run it from in Drake it and connect it up with 495 and suck all those cars off of Bridge Street, which will result in cars moving towards Bridge Street from further west in Lowell, and will reduce traffic on Rourke Bridge.
So
In
is
fact-
that, you're saying like connect over where like Haggett's Pond is, like over by the 495 over there? I think there's some, as long as EPA is, if it's not conservation land and they're able to do it, I mean.
I call it the Marie Sweeney Bridge. And I think that we need some innovative thinking. What do you think, Sidney?
Traffics and everything else in the city. I mean, a lot of the stuff that, also Erin mentioned, I used to work for this program called Mass in Motion, where I work with, so my title at the city was a bicycle coordinator. The very first bike lane around Father Morissette was a nightmare, but I work with the drawing of the Andover Street. I work with the drawing of the Lord Overpass. But right now, there's no other way of, looking at the different congestion that's in the city. I mean, one of the things that staff turnover, make it a problem as well, where you have in the city. I mean, I used to work with Maldonado. He was a traffic engineer during that time, and I worked very close with him. I helped over 40 projects that, within the city, but I don't have, I might, support Adam's idea of the speed humps right now, just because there's nothing out there that's really concrete that's helping. Look at the Worthing Pub, right? You have this paving, around, and then you have a little bit where you used to put in this concrete to sit in, and there's nothing painted, nothing's paving there, and then there's a little broken, potholes in between there, and why would you do that? Why would you just, sort of like, you make sure the road on that side is all good, but then there's a little hump where people are sitting, it's just like potholes. Yeah. So this should be like a message from the city, to take care of the street, and it should be consistent. Wherever they go, whatever they do, should be, consistently maintained.
Francisco's next, but I have
I'll blast through these texts quick. Last time Fairmount Street was paved, the Continental Congress was in session. What
That's
is-
Jay.
What is traffic calming, Erin? A question to the panel, who's responsible for the high school disaster and who will pay for the overage? Mr. McDonough, tell Erin she looks beautiful. That's Jeannie and Drake.
Thanks, Jeannie.
And will you push back against the state when they push their agenda, housing with no parking? People, on the people of Lowell, 70% of our funding comes from Beacon Hill. That's from Bart. Back over to you guys.
Holy smoke. Okay, let's finish up on traffic. We'll let Aaron define traffic calming in a minute, but Francisco, go ahead.
I'm going to keep it brief. I agree with Erin that the picture of the traffic problem is a bigger picture. It involves more input from all our departments. I am concerned with speed bumps because there's an accident reconstructionist with the Lowell Police Department on someone who's been certified on 1 of 1,500 nationwide. I know that speeding is a behavioral thing. It's operator on behavior that needs to change. The vehicles that are speeding are going to continue to speed, and now you're giving launching pads for them to be launched into the air. A vehicle in the air is more dangerous than a vehicle on the road. You want to reduce on pedestrian involved collisions, you have to separate pedestrians from vehicles. Vehicles should operate on roads. Pedestrians should be somewhere safe, preferably in a protected sidewalk. But when you don't have a protected sidewalk, a simple sidewalk is better than not having one.
Cisco, you're a retired cop. Why don't cops give traffic tickets?
In Lowell, we're responding to a lot of 911 calls, a
you're
lot
too
of
busy.
service call. Yes, honestly, there's a
Answer my question,
shortage
thank
of
you.
police officers in the
Thank
city
you.
right now.
Got my answer, thanks.
Aaron, you got a 15-second, what is traffic calming?
Sure. So traffic calming is a science. It is adding, or just the way that roads are built. They're built in a way that your eye catches things. So putting double sidewalks on either side of a street to reduce the size of the road, that's a traffic calming measure. So it's a science that it uses engineering to look at the way that cities and roads are built to slow traffic in certain areas. And that's how like the speed limits are set and all that stuff.
Okay. Homelessness. We had someone on the show a couple of times recently, Dave
Pino.
who said that he thinks that it's a drug issue. So I'd like to have a view on homelessness and drugs, and we'll start with you, Francisco. The
This-
police eye view.
This one is a tough one because honestly, people should be treated with respect, but that also comes with accountability. If you're doing stuff that you shouldn't do and you're breaking the law, whether you're homeless or housed or live in a mansion, you should be held accountable. I think this problem is a big problem, a problem that's not just in Lowell. It's a state problem, and the state needs to be involved. Some of the homeless folks here in Lowell have no choice but to come to Lowell because there's no shelters in Drake. There's no shelters in Westford. There's no shelters in some of the surrounding towns. So people end up here. They end up here for services. I've spoken to some of these folks, and they've told me literally, I came here because I was mandated by the court in my community to come here for services. If not, I go to jail. And I found that when I was here, it was good to me. You know, it provided what I was looking for, which could have been, other things that they're involved with. So I personally think the shelter is crowded. I've been inside that shelter. No one should sleep in those conditions, and we need to take responsibility. Not just Lowell, but the state needs to decide that some of these shelters have bet their full capacity, and they need to go and expand these shelters. We have to go look for places for people to sleep. Nobody should sleep on the street if we can find a place for them to sleep. And also, I understand that drug use and alcohol use is part of the issue, but that also has to be treated. But my understanding is that if you're not sleeping and you're not somewhere safe, you can't participate in the cleaning
Well,
process
you
of
get
being
kicked out of your house
drugs.
too. We gotta realize they get kicked out of the house for a reason.
Yeah,
Okay, their family abandoned them for a reason.
yeah.
And that always gets ignored. So you come home from work, and you just say to your daughter, who's high as a kite on the couch, honey, where's the TV? You say, I don't know, Dad. Tomorrow you come home and the microwave's gone. Same answer. Sooner or later, you're going to kick her out of the house. And so nobody addresses those real issues. There's mental health. The fact is, we subsidize it with our taxes, the homeless problem.
That's
And that
not the
always gets
fact.
ignored. Gets ignored.
That's not the real fact.
Okay, what's your view, Cliff?
And I want to hear what the panel has to say about this, because I think that Governor Healy and the leadership on Beacon Hill are politically and ideologically unable to come to grips with this problem. I mean, I've lived here 31 years. It's been here 31 years. Do we think anybody down there on Beacon Hill has an idea about solving this problem? I'll start with Sidney, put him on the spot.
Thank you. I sort of have a lot of, not experience in terms of like getting this problem solved. But the very first thing that I want to do is, as a counselor, I would create a position, a mental health clinician in the city, right in the health department. That's one of my main goals. I want to make sure that homeless people talk to, respectfully, humanly possible, because nobody wants to be homeless. Drug is not the only option, the only way that people get homelessness. So I want to focus more on mental health and how to help them. Of course, we need to have a good place for them to stay. A way so that they can cope, a way that they can heal, and a way that people listen to them, that understand them. I have a cousin who's 20, not a cousin, yeah, I think he's a cousin. A son of a cousin, a nephew, right? He's 21 years old. He's using a lot. He's wanted to be homeless. So when he comes home, he said the home is too crowded. He can't stay. He can't stay here. There's not, I guess people tell him what to do. So he just get out, and he's living in the tent city. That's what they call this place, by the Clemente Park nowadays. And we introduce him into, have some help. 2 days later, he signed himself out. His mom put him into the help, and then, a couple of days later, he signed himself out. It's a revolving door, but nobody wants to be homeless. Nobody wanted to be, exactly in that situation. And I encountered people who has family that's pretty rich, but that family member is also homeless. So I will focus more on mental health and how we can approach them, in a way of trying to understand where they're coming from, so that we can decide where, to get them across of where they want to go. Again, a good place to sleep, it's a start, but a nice place also to sleep with some kind of mental health support would be a good way of
How long
helping them.
can they sleep there? Forever?
No, there should be a program of, monitoring case management, and, also focus looking at the health. There should be a limit of example, like, okay, do you have a 6-week program on how to get, this program A done, and then move on to another one, including job placement.
You think that restricting their rights is in order?
You're bringing that up again, huh? No, I mean, again, that's something that I don't want to do, where
See, the first day I don't like the program, I'm quitting. Goodbye.
well, I mean.
I don't like it here anymore, bye.
Yeah, but you can't put them in jail, so that's not something that, you want to do where you
Shut
just
off
like,
your
oh.
EBT card. Can't do that either.
Yeah, well, I
Oh
mean.
my God, we have
But
to
we
still.
haven't tried this mental health clinician stuff that's needed in the city. That's
Look,
something.
they didn't listen to their mother, they get kicked out of their own freaking house. What makes you think they're gonna listen to a stranger?
Well, who knows? We got to try.
Aaron, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm ready. So the city had 2 substance use coordinators, but Lowell has what's called a co-op. It's under the health department. So we had 2 substance use coordinators. The co-op is a team that has police, it has ambulance, it has the fire department goes out, so they've tried to do a wraparound service. So if somebody overdoses and gets Narcan and goes to the hospital, we have a substance use coordinator and social workers that go out and try to do follow-up care and services. When it works really well and can be a model for other cities and towns. When you cut funding, so the substance use coordinators funding was cut, so we don't have those positions anymore. They're $1 line items. When there is funding back in the budget, we can put that towards it. They have had some success even without the substance use coordinator. It's a team that goes out to the encampments to say, hey, you go to shelter, or, this is trespassing. They have been able to rehouse 35 people. They went out they're doing like afternoon sweeps with the police now to kind of try to help. And they actually got a Section 35, that is the legal way to get someone into treatment where they have to go. It's very I worked for the Department of Children and Families. We used to try to get sections. It's unheard of. The courts don't do it. Now there's no treatment facilities. So I think that we need to answer your question, Cliff, because I think you had asked about Beacon Hill. I don't know if they have the political gusto to say, hey, you know what, we need to reopen the treatment centers, but I do think that that's what we need. And then we need the courts to also have a stronger hand and help us to get people into treatment, because I do think that it's mental health and substance use. I've been in those encampments. I did the pick count on the Homeless and Hunger Commission. I also, as a DCF worker and an investigator, we had to go out and you meet the parents where they are, and sometimes they're in those encampments. Nobody would choose that life. Nobody is waking up saying, you know what, I don't want to live in my house. They're not selling their parents' TV for nothing. It's that nobody's choosing this life. And
But once upon a time, when I was young, Lowell had its own continuum of care, COC, and we gave that up and joined the balance of state with the idea that it would get a better management of this. Should we go back to being our own continuum of care to handle homelessness?
who funds it? When it was the continuum of care, was that straight Lowell taxpayer dollars, or was it state?
We also had federal and state.
Okay.
Do we need to bring this back in? We'll go with the simple yes or no.
Yes, I think,
If we can get the funding, yes.
I think you tackle the problem where it's small. This problem is getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and no one is taking it serious. It's going to come to a point where it's going to be like Boston. Isn't that their big issue right now?
Cisco, as long as my sister's getting a job out of this, shut your mouth and leave it alone. Okay, Lowell's all about give me a job. That's my own personal opinion. Okay, these four texts, I'm going to go back over you guys. Home run, Mr. McDonough, cut off the EBT. Also, so I don't know what the also is. An outdated shelter doesn't help matters. Quantitative fingers. Facility has been old and outdated for decades. Next, what the government is doing is not working. Put them in forced housing with forced drug, alcohol, mental rehabilitation. When an ambulance comes to my house and I don't have insurance for it, that ride costs me a fortune. Who pays for the ambulance for the homeless? OD, that's from Bart. Back over to you guys. Thank you for your comments.
What? It's $800 a year for homeless people for medical care.
They
Cliff.
have the gold card. They have the Mass Health card.
Right.
There's
One-
no ceiling.
Yeah. One thing that Sidney brought up was this problem does not just affect the poor. It affects everyone from every community. We've had people, I have uncles that passed from OD, overdosing. I've had family from Lori's side passed from overdose. The thing is, with heroin, it becomes physically addictive. It becomes part of your body. It's like us breathing. If someone tries to stop us from breathing, we're going to fight and claw. We're going to kill to breathe. We're going to do everything. The same effect takes a hold of someone when they're drug dependent. And sometimes you have to put them in a facility, and you have to treat them with isolation, because they're not acting for themselves. They're acting for the drug. The drug is, you really think that a child wants to steal from their parents? Sell their TV, sell their home, steal their money? But it happens every day, and it happens in the rich and poor communities. When people are addicted to drugs, they change.
Okay. So, should we get our own continuum of care? Yes, no?
What do you mean by continuing of care, Cliff?
Continuum of care.
Well, what do you
It's
mean?
a political, it's a sort of quango. It's a political
There's another
organization.
fuzzy word.
Yeah, go ahead, look it up. It's a political organization.
If I don't understand it, Cliff, the audience doesn't either. That's why I'm bringing it up. I'm not a
Well, wait
dummy.
a second. I have a lot more respect for the audience than, anyway. Do we want to take control back from managing our homeless operation from downtown Boston and put it back in Lowell?
I agree.
Nobody knows this city like we do, so I would agree, only because if you're up on the hill, I don't know that you're in tune to the same issues that we have here as what the issues are in Boston.
I mean, if it's possible, I would looking into funding it locally, and not really depending on, Beacon Hill or other funding out there, because once they not happy or once they just want to cut and they cut and then there goes the program. The way to sustain the program is to make sure that we have localized partnerships that can sustain us, whether our tax dollar or local foundation, or other people that's within our city that can help sustain the program.
Okay. The home ownership, I think, is important, and I think that Governor Healy's and her administration misses the point. And I don't think Lowell is the place to build affordable housing with home ownership. So it seems to me they need to find some multi-acre area outside of 495, not in Lowell, where they can build 10,000 houses that people can own, because renting does not lead you in the direction of the American dream, which is home ownership, where you own the house, you accrue the value of the house as you make improvements to it. Do you see any way we can encourage the state government to provide better housing for people?
For me, I feel sad if when I drive from City Hall toward the UMass Lowell crossing, I see these new buildings coming up. I look at the cross street, I see new building coming up. It just, to me, it's sad in a way of you're putting all these building and affordable housing inside a place that's already congested. The kids, I don't even know what to say, but it touched me where, like, our kids should have a free reign of space that, can walk and be outside, can do many things, during their time away from school, or just frustration of having a lot of homework. And I feel like the acre is not neglected, but in a way it's being abused by putting more housing in there because, oh, we need more housing. Okay, let's check the acre, let's see if there's any other space we can put in. The sidewalk is really full of cement. There's nothing around there, and you walk to other places like, I don't know, Pawtucketville, or you're talking about, the Upper Highland a little bit, or maybe the Belvedere a little bit. You envy their sidewalk and crosswalk, and when you come back home to your place, you see this concrete and building going up, and nobody can hear us, not even our counselor can hear us, and they just keep putting stuff, and people are screaming to us that we need an affordable living space, and then they say, oh yeah, we give it to you right there, affordable living space, yeah. So it is sad that people don't see that, and I just wanted to make sure, win or lose, you'll hear about it, and hopefully somebody will fix it.
Okay, anybody else want to talk to this issue?
And I think you can really look at it like this. You have a cup, you put water in it, it overflows. Guess what? You could keep putting water into it, and it keeps overflow. Or you could go get another cup. I agree with you, Cliff, in the sense that it's a state problem. I mean, home ownership, single home ownership is the most rewarding thing that you can do. I did it. I grew up in the projects. I said to myself, this is me at a real young age saying, I don't want to live here. I want to live like those folks that have houses, and I want a house someday. And I went to school. I worked very hard. Even with my disability, dyslexia, I worked hard, and I saved money. I crushed cans back there. When cans weren't 5 cents a can, I had to put a bag together. Every weekend I put a bag together, and I think I got $5. But I took that $5, and then I made $10 because I walked from Shaughnessy Terrace to Vesper, and I caddied. And I put that money away, and I saved, and I made sure that, my money was used for the right reasons, and I knew education was my way out. So, yeah, I mean, the state has to decide that they have to look out other places where there is land available, and they have to participate and maybe, provide some of this great transportation they're talking about from those new communities that we built, and bring those folks to work so that they can afford single homes. It's not affordable housing. It's all about affordable housing if you have the right job. If we can provide good jobs and build homes that, are reasonably built because they're being built where there's availability, they will sell. I mean, you'll get that generational wealth that we hear that we want other people to share. And the American dream starts here in Lowell. We kickstart the dream here, but you have to go somewhere else.
I was smiling while you were talking because I can't remember. Ooh, I don't know what that was. I'm sorry.
That's probably my coffee.
Oh.
It didn't spill.
Okay.
It's not for coffee.
When you were talking, when I was growing up, I can remember my father was a runner too, and he would run and pick up cans. He was the hardest worker I've ever met in my life. My dad always worked 1, 2, 3 jobs at a time. And then our life significantly changed when he got a job with the union. So that's why I would always push for resident requirements, not requirement, but let's look at our residents first because we have talent here, and let's keep the jobs here because getting good jobs are what's going to build us out of here, and that starts with education. My parents always preached education. That's what's going to get you out of poverty, and my father was able to do that for us by, getting a union job and uplifting his family out of poverty. So I think that if we invest in our infrastructure, keep our schools, they should be pristine places of learning, and let our school committee focus on the educational needs and making sure that our schools are great, and then keeping jobs here are what is going to help us to get to home ownership.
Okay. I want to go into a district that none of you would represent directly, and that's down by the Prince pasta plant that's been turned into a AI farm, and now there's a lot of talk about the noise and pollution from the production of of electricity, which apparently we're going to have to double the amount of electricity in the United States in order to fully move into the AI age. How do we handle this trade-off? We need more electricity, we want the jobs, we want good jobs, high-paying jobs, but yet we don't want pollution from electricity. Has anybody got any thoughts on this?
I think sorry, Jeff.
Oh, that's okay.
Erin, I think nuclear reactors provide safe electricity with the amount of research and technology that we have. I think we can even put some of this technology underground to even make it safer. If you want to reduce the footprint of coal in this country, you have to think of other forms of generating electricity.
I'm just gonna toss this on the table. I think we should take NASA and tell them, look, you're not going to space for 10 years, so knock that over there. Find a new way to create electricity, and let's go down that avenue, because this nuclear power plant, it's gonna be there for 235 years. Why do we keep building these things? It's gonna be there for 235 years. We can only use it for like 100. The other 150 years, it just sits there. Can't use it. So we're gonna stop this windmill business. Great idea. Put NASA on it. Find a better way to create energy. I think that's the avenue we should go on. NASA's got sending people to space. Knock it off. Just for 10 years. That's my solution. I got these texts I'm gonna read to you guys, and then we'll call it a day of the text. Respectfully, yes, they are choosing that life. When you stick a needle in your arm with a narcotic, that's on you. People will need personal responsibility also. Good point. Will you sit your full term or run for office in the next 2 years?
Okay, that's a good question. Will you serve out your full 2 years, or are you looking to run for state rep or something like that?
Oh, I'm here to work for the acre. I'm not running for, anything
Okay.
else, and I won't,
Erin?
yeah.
I have no intentions to run for state rep.
No, I actually liked working directly with the neighborhood, and that I think will fulfill my work desire. I definitely want to retire by 62.
So, all right. So where were we? We were talking about South Lowell and the problem with energy creation. The alternative to John's idea, which is allowing China to dominate space, would be to just totally drop out of all of that and go
The
back to
NSA
being
can
agriculture.
put stuff up there, Cliff. We both know that. They do it already.
NSA?
Yeah, the secret society where they don't exist.
No such agency?
There you go.
So John, tell me what's there was a story with the Tanner Street contamination.
Wait, just a second. You realize that NSA doesn't put satellites up. The Air Force
Yes, they do.
and now
They
Space
own
Command.
secret aircraft. Cliff.
Excuse me.
Yeah, they do.
My brother ran the contract.
Okay. What year? In this century?
Oh, last century.
Okay.
We're all retired this
So
century.
Sidney has a question for me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the story too well about the Tanner Street.
The Resin plant?
There's some kind of plant that's contaminated the land.
Yeah, we hired our friends to fix that. It's just, forget about it. Just move on.
Right, no, the reason I'm asking is that, there's not a lot of resident that stays there, and what's Maki's, energy things happening there with a lot of contamination underneath could be a problem for residents in the near and maybe long future ahead. So, that's, that.
Well, Sidney,
sort of came to my
Monclay has a
mind.
lot of dough,
Yeah.
and they're gonna pretty much do whatever they want to do until they move elsewhere. And then we'll be stuck with the mess they leave, just like Resin or Prince Macaroni, whatever mess they leave,
Yeah.
we're gonna be stuck, like the mill, when the mill's all left, we were stuck with a bunch of empty buildings that will never fall down.
So one of the things that I think happens, and I've seen it, on the Board of Health, I don't sleep that much and I read a lot of policy, is that when we write RFPs, sometimes there's a part that's different. Our requests for proposals look very different from other cities. When you tailor it and write it specifically to one group, or you leave it carte blanche, you can just do whatever you, like whoever is gonna buy this land and build here, like, okay, if you fit the description, so it's a light industrial area, they fit the description, and we really didn't put a lot of policies and kind of requirements on the land being bought there. So I think when things like that happen, then it's kind of on the government. It's our fault. We didn't put the policy in place to say, you know what, you need to be a good neighbor. And I think that Markley has the money and they have the ability to be good neighbors, but we need to regulate it and make sure that they're being good neighbors before we approve any other further building over there.
How are you going to have your city manager do that?
Make a motion if I get elected.
Understood, thank you.
So, do we want AI server farms in Lowell? Is that a good deal or a bad deal?
Well, they're here, so we have to figure out a way to
We
work
need
with
to
them.
bring jobs to the city, so, I mean, we gotta start somewhere.
Yeah.
And what I would think possibly is, are we gonna create a new tax percentage for AI companies? A different rate? You just said they're gonna use more electricity, more demand.
Yep.
Guess what? Maybe you're gonna have to pay more for that.
So, switching gears, we hear in the news a lot about ICE coming into places and arresting people. What, they just shut down a battery manufacturing plant down in Georgia? They took several hundred people out that were illegal residents. What should be our relationship with ICE and here in Lowell? And how do we feel about the issue of illegal immigrant children that are in our schools? Should we be returning them to their parents in their home countries, or what?
Cliff, how are these local issues?
Yeah, I agree. How is this a local?
Do the Lowell police cooperate with ICE?
Presently, I'm not an employee of the Lowell Police Department. I'm not sure where they stand right now. My understanding was that if they had the proper paperwork, they have to submit a warrant for us to hand over someone that's in our custody. If they had the paperwork, we would respond accordingly. And I don't think at this point we're assisting ICE in Lowell.
Only if they ask. You know how cops have big elbows, and we found this out yesterday with that fake gun thing, that they don't get along. The FBI came, they don't want to talk to the chief of police of UMass Lowell. They just don't. They don't work well with others. All these agencies don't.
Well, I can give an example of, so the Trust Act is what makes Lowell like sanctuary city. I think it, but in its core, is a great piece of legislation. It's a great ordinance. Our police are here to protect us. I can't imagine if I was afraid of the police, if I was a different status, and couldn't call an ambulance if I was having a heart attack, because the police come with the ambulance, right? So I can say from my personal experience, when I worked at DCF as a hotline investigator, I would have to go out in the middle of the night, and sometimes we'd have to call Lowell Police, and Lowell Police would come with us. Their role in that sense was to be crowd control, peacekeeping, and safety. There was an MOU between the two agencies. So I can say that if the Lowell Police, if Captain Hudon, or Chief Hudon is saying that this is what Lowell Police is gonna do, that's what they're gonna do. I've worked in other communities and been called on hotline that police have a big overreach, and you walk in the house, that they put everyone to the floor, they're looking for warrants and they're gonna arrest you. I've never had that experience in Lowell, so I think that if Lowell Police says that we're not engaging in federal ICE investigations, then they're not. That's the way I see it.
I can speak on just the community view where When I go knock on doors, and sometimes they get scared, people don't open the doors, anymore. They don't sit in front of their yard anymore. And I've seen people missing appointment to go to, whether a doctor appointment or some other appointment, and it's really taking a toll, especially from the acre neighborhoods where you have a lot people that's coming from different countries to live in, especially the country where a lot of official, abusing their power. I think so far the police department has been, really good in terms of working with the community. As far as collaboration, I don't know the detail, but I think they're doing a pretty good job in balancing, their, I guess, their jobs and also and the community we're living. They know the community, and they've been doing a pretty good job in, making sure the community is not in a panic mode, and not, make sure they're not trusting them.
Okay, we got about 30, 40 seconds for each person to make their pitch. So, Francisco.
We need folks to vote. If you want to be heard at City Hall, you have to vote. We have a preliminary, us three, this Tuesday, September 9th. Your vote is important. You can still vote early today till 3 p.m. at the Senior Center. Again, if you're out there and you haven't voted and you think you're not going to be able to vote on September 9th, today, go to the Senior Center and vote. If you don't feel that City Hall is listening to your concerns, there's an opportunity to change that. But if you don't vote, that's not going to happen. Francisco Maldonado, District 8.
Erin.
Sure. The city council makes decisions that impact your livelihood. Your way to have a voice in our city is to get out there and vote. I want to be a strong voice for District 3, but I need your vote. So I humbly ask for your vote. Vote like your livelihood depends on it. I know mine does and the future of my children does. So I humbly ask for your vote. Thank you. Erin Gendron, I'm number 3 on the ballot.
My name is Sidney Liang. I'm number 2 on the District 7 ballot. You walk around, Lowell has a problem. We all sitting here, we know there's a problem, and we need to fix it. We need to make sure that they hear us, and the only way to do that is for you and everybody to go to the poll and vote. Vote your voice, vote for your candidate, and support those who can make a change at City Hall. We know Lowell has a problem, and I need your support and I need your vote today, like Francisco said, 9 to 3 at the Senior Center, and otherwise come on Tuesday, September 9th. My name is Sidney Liang.
Thank you all three. Thank you for running. It's not easy to run, and I've run twice, lost twice, so I understand. But I appreciate you also coming on the show. So thank you very much, and big hand wave to the audience.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you,